to look at as well. So, how's your morning going? Is it okay so far? Well, quite bizarre, actually. If I look to my right now, I see a little dog, I see a rabbit, and I see a monkey. Now, why have I got a dog, a rabbit, and a monkey sitting with me in the studio, you may ask? Well, it's all the responsibility of Darren Atkins, who's also with me. Morning, Darren.
Good morning, Dave.
Why are you... Why?
Well, I'm here today to show you some of my balloon models and magic, and equally it's Volunteers Week at the local hospital.
And you are a volunteer?
I am indeed, yes.
And you create these wonderful, wonderful masterpieces, because I'm looking at the dog at the moment. Its body is white balloons, its ears and its tail brown balloons. You've got two blue eyes with black centres. You've got a black nose. You've got a little tongue in there that's pink. You've got a little scarf around his neck that's red. And the ends of the scarf are orange. It's an absolute masterpiece, this. And how long does it take to create something like that?
That one took me about 15 minutes last night. I'm watching the Jubilee concert.
15 minutes? Okay, well, look, we're going to come back to you in the next hour of the programme today and hear more about this. And this is nothing to do with his real job. You will be amazed when you hear what his real job is. In fact, I shall keep that from you until the next hour of the programme. Now, what are we doing? Now, let's get back to my balloon man. Darren Atkins is a balloon man, but he's also... Should I whisper this? Because you lot are not very popular at the moment, are you?
Well, I'm always very popular, Dave. Go on, you can whisper it.
He's an NHS manager. You're always very popular. Well, clearly, with your balloons. How, from being an NHS manager to being a balloon man, how did this happen, Darren?
Well, it's a long story, really. I've always been working in the sort of private sector in London, the financial services market, as an IT specialist. But my lovely wife, Vicky, bought me a magic set many years ago for Christmas as a bit of a joke, really. And unfortunately, it kind of taken over my life. So now I'm into my magic big time. I've got my own company called Magic Works. I do children's parties, corporate entertainment, weddings, christenings, all sorts around Essex and the country. And I kind of wanted to take the traditional balloon modelling a little bit further. Everyone's seen a magician make a balloon dog. Yeah. And as you see, my dog's not quite the traditional one. And I just wanted to do something a little bit different.
Does your wife speak to you now?
She does, but it will take a lot to impress her and the children.
I bet it will.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear.
I've kind of grown up with it.
So how long have you been doing your magic now?
Magic probably about 15, 16 years, I'm saying. Yeah.
Right, so you started off with a magic set that was a joke.
That's right.
And it just took over your life.
It did indeed. I got very obsessed with it.
And so what sort of magic do you do?
Mainly close-up magic, but also I do big children's parties. Yeah. It's big stage shows.
Do you make yourself disappear and saw ladies in half?
I do if it's a bad show. I run away. But, no, I don't do the traditional sort of big illusion acts, but more sort of fun shows, really.
Excellent, excellent. And what are you doing for because you said it was Volunteer Week.
It is
because
indeed.
You're using your skills
to
spread the joy, aren't you?
That's right. Well, this week in Colchester Hospital is Volunteers Week. We started off just before the weekend with a Volunteers Tea Party, and as one of the directors of the hospital, I thought it'd be good to give some time back. So you do sometimes see me around the children's ward, making balloons and magic for the children, but equally on Wednesday morning I'm spending a couple of hours, actually it's tomorrow morning, isn't it? I'm spending a couple of hours on the children's ward and in outpatients, just trying to brighten the place up and make our patients even happier.
And there's some very ill children there, some very unhappy children, aren't there? And what effect does this have on them?
Well, it's great. I mean, my last trip down to the children's ward, there was one little boy who was in his own room, and I must have spent probably almost an hour with him, and he's a very poorly child, but I decorated his bed, I made some balloons and had a laugh, and it's not even about the balloons and the entertainment, it's just having someone to chat to, talk about the day and kind of take their minds off things, and the parents were extremely grateful, just that they could have a little bit of a rest trying to keep their little boy happy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it must give you so much joy, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed, yeah, I enjoy it very much indeed.
What's the most difficult party you've ever done? Because I think we all know that children can be the harshest audience you're ever going to get.
They can be, and certainly in the early days it was very difficult when you're making your way in the world. But I guess my hardest one, well, you get all sorts really. I had one lady who invited all the children to the wrong venue, so I was there for an hour before anyone turned up. Equally, I did a party for young adults who had mental difficulties but were in a secure unit, and I didn't know that beforehand. So all the knives and the ropes and the scissors had to be locked away, and that was quite scary. And even for some awful stories, I asked some little girl, does her mum do magic? And she said, no, my mum's dead. So you have those cringeful moments as well, but you have to deal with it at the time. And that's what makes the job so varied. You don't know what you're walking into and what environment, so it's interesting.
Does it help you with your full-time job, if you like?
I think it helps me stay positive and in a joyous mood, and it's also my form of stress relief, to be honest.
Stress relief?
What it is, I mean, it takes my mind off things that are happening, and just to see people happy is great. And I am quite renowned in the hospital for producing my balloons, and when I first started there, I tried to keep it kind of quiet. I wanted to keep this job away from my normal job, but unfortunately the two have come together now.
Yeah.
So I do find I get a lot of requests for balloons, and certainly last December I did 3 Christmas shows for staff and their families. And so, yeah, it's spreading. It's good fun.
And so when you went for the interview for the director's job, you didn't mention the balloons then?
I didn't mention the balloons at that time.
Right. Probably best.
It didn't take long.
Yeah. But let's go to the bunny here, because this, I mean, how on earth do you make it? Let me just describe it. Central core of the body and the face, white balloon. The arms, the legs, the feet, grey balloons. You've got black eyes on the white face. You've got grey balloons as the ears, grey balloon as the nose, and you've got it holding a carrot, which is a small orange balloon with green balloon on top. How on earth do you do that?
Well, clearly balloons aren't really designed for radio, so if anyone wants to have a look at my website, there's plenty of balloons on there.
Which is?
It's www.magicworks.limited.uk, or if you go into Google and search for Magic Works, then you'll get a link to me there and see there's probably over 1,000 different designs on there now.
Yeah.
But really, you start off very small. You start playing around, and eventually you come up with something fairly decent. And a lot of these models, they evolve over time. And also in the UK, there's a rather large group of us who meet regularly at various places around the UK, and we have things called balloon jams. So we kind of work on new ideas and share a beer and have a bit of fun. So it's
so
good.
A whole group of you get together and make balloon models?
That's right. As sad as it sounds, that's what we do.
Well, look, come on. I'm no critic of that. Absolutely. Any excuse to get together and have a laugh, it's got to be, isn't it? So do you think this will take over your life eventually?
Well, it did for a while. When I left my job in London and City, I did this full-time for almost 2 years. And with the credit crunch coming in and offered to work at a hospital 10 minutes up the road from where I live, I thought I'd take it. But the magic business has been just as booming now as it was before. But I love my time at the hospital. It's a great place to work. We're making great improvements, a good bunch of people. So I like to keep the balance right and do both.
Absolutely fantastic to meet you, Darren. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
You realise we've got your number now?
Indeed, good.
Yeah, we've got your number.
Give me a call.
Darren Atkins there, magician, balloon modeller and NHS manager. What a combination.